man. Some good information for everybody there. But this week, you're going to have to either roll with me or roll with Andy because we are on the other side of the fence on a lot of these bets this weekend. All right, hey, I'm going to bring our guest picker into the show. I'm going to bring him in. Now, we're going to do 6 games. We're going to do 3 college games and 3 NFL games. We're going to run this thing all year, and you and I are going to go head-to-head against the pickers, right? They're going to have a collective total at the end of the season. So I'm going to bring Gilbert in right now. Hey, Gilbert.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
How you doing, man?
What's up,
Welcome
Gilbert?
to the show. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks. I'm actually in a fantasy draft right now also, so I got a lot of things going on.
All right. Well, hey, man, a lot of balls in the air.
No idea who I'm picking in this game this weekend, but
Yeah.
Well, we're going to find out in a minute, I think,
Yeah.
right? But before we get into that, man, I want to give you a second to tell us a little bit about your documentary. Now, I was there at the premiere. I saw this thing. It was absolutely fantastic. And if you guys, you got to check this thing out over the weekend. Watch it with your significant other if you want to feel all the feels. It's called Our Quinceanera. And I'm not going to do it justice, buddy. Give us a little bit about it.
Yeah, man. So we did it a couple of years ago. It's called Our Quinceanera. It's a documentary about my hometown in a small town in South Texas called San Benito, Texas. My dad, who's now retired, started this community quinceanera for girls in his school. He was the principal of the 9th grade academy at the time who couldn't afford it, right? So it was a school of 800 kids. Roughly half were female. So there's 400 girls in the school. The year we shot the movie, 85 girls participated. And basically the gist of it is, for those who don't know, in Hispanic culture, a quinceañera is very similar to a sweet 16, right? But it's very culturally significant and it's a big part of the culture. But they're very expensive. They can run the cost of a wedding, right? And so these days, a lot of people can't afford to have them. And so when my dad was talking to a couple of the girls and he's like, hey, you're not having a quinceañera? And they were like, no, family can't afford it. And he's like, well, do you want one? And they were like, yeah. And he's like, well, I'll throw one for you. Right. And so he set it up and basically everybody, the girls don't pay for the dress. They get to wear these magnificent dresses that have been donated from all around the country, that they have a dress room that's got like over 100 dresses in it. The girls get to go in and pick it out and get fitted for the dress. And, and it's really amazing. Their family gets to come. Each family has a table. There's a massive father-daughter dance. There's the school mariachi group plays. Like, it's this really great thing. And you get to hear from the girls and their moms and what's going on in the thing and my dad and why he does it. And it kind of highlights how close the small town is and everything. So it's a really great movie. It's still available on Amazon Prime and on Tubi. Hopefully we'll be going to some more networks soon. So we're kind of switching up some distributor things right now. But yeah, it won a bunch of awards. It won Best Documentary at Gina Davis's Bentonville Film Festival. And a bunch of other awards at film festivals a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is absolutely great. I mean, you see these young girls, they're like, they're heartbroken that they're not going to be able to do this thing at all. And especially in this day and age with like social media and everybody's posting these elaborate quinceañera parties they're having, like you said, that cost of weddings. And It's so, ingrained into the culture and so important to the culture. And you see these girls just being heartbroken. And then your dad brings in these carts and carts of dresses that people have donated that are gorgeous. And these girls are just in tears. And
yeah, and the year we shot, they even had like the local or like a close by like beauty college come in and they set up an entire place. So the girls got hair and makeup done the whole day, like with their moms there and their sisters. And it was very cool to shoot it and to kind of put it all on film and everything. For me, it was kind of a love letter to educators and also kind of a, something to kind of show the kind of cool things my dad's done in my home, something fun in my hometown back and show that there's cool things going on all around the country.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that's absolutely something we need more of, man. It's something we just need more of. It is people actively trying to lift up their communities and not for any kind of awareness. Like your dad, it wasn't like he's posting all over the place. Look at what I'm doing, man. You know what I mean? Like he's doing this thing for these girls.
Got it started, right? And so like basically, it was one of these things where he was going around and the community donates everything. And honestly, the way the movie came to be was when I heard he was doing it, they got a little local press. I was kind of surprised it hadn't gotten more press. And so I actually tried to get it on Ellen DeGeneres' show, right? So, she was always doing a bunch of stuff. And basically I got ignored, right? Yeah. And I work in the film industry. So I thought, I'll get there. And pretty much got ignored about it completely. And I was like, well, if she's not going to hear about it, I'm going to make my own movie about it.
Yeah, it'd be fundraised it yourself and everything.
Yeah,
And
so that's kind of how
it's great,
yeah.
man. You guys got to check it out. It's great. Absolutely selfless. And you will feel the feels and you will cry.
Yeah.
Speaking of crying, let's get to some college football because during the course of the season, everybody is going to cry. Gilbert, we'll get to your guys this weekend. Texas Longhorns. I know you're alum. I know it's a big deal for you. You're going to the game. I might meet you there. I'm still thinking about doing that. But our first game of the weekend now, here we go, guys. Our first game of the weekend, we're going to do Ole Miss laying 7 at Tulane. Number 20 Ole Miss laying 7 at number 24 Tulane. And the over-under here is 67. Andy, let's start with you.
I think a couple weeks ago we had this talk. I was kind of saying like Ole Miss is kind of a team I secretly like in the SEC. Like I kind of like Ole Miss. The lane train to maybe win that division. If you wanted to lay something to win their division in the SEC, I think it was like plus 1,600. Like, look, it probably won't happen. The lane train's gonna make a colossal wreck. But I did like what I saw in week 1. The lane train dropped 73 on a JV team, so which is good. Tulane, last time we saw Tulane, they just beat South Alabama last week. South Alabama's pretty good. The week and the game before that, they beat USC in January. So Tulane is legit, right? They made like one of the biggest jump I think ever last year, going from like 2 wins to 12 wins or 11 wins, whatever they did. I am going to take the over for sure in this game. I'm also going to take the lane train. Because I think Ole Miss is a little too much, and I can't jump off the train right now. Not yet. I'll wait till they play the Alabamas and the Georgias of the world when I jump off lane. But I know they're going on the road. To me, road games aren't as big a deal at home and in college and pros, right? And also, I think Lane kind of likes being a villain, obviously. So you're telling him he gets to run it up on the road, Darth Lane will like to do that.
Yeah,
so,
he will.
Long way to say Ole Miss and the over for me.
Okay, Ole Miss and over for him. Gilbert, what do you got in this one?
All right, so I don't agree with you on the home field advantage on college football. I actually think it matters, but I think it matters at big schools. Mm-hmm. So Tulane is a very small stadium. You're going to probably have just as many Ole Miss people there as you will Tulane, fans. So you'll be able to buy tickets as an Ole Miss fan. They'll go. Are they still playing in New Orleans? Because if they are, everyone from Ole Miss is going to show up to party. So it'll be crazy. I've gone to a Texas Tulane game and we outnumbered them 2-1, 3-1, and we were all drunk as shit and had a great time and killed Tulane. Right. So Tulane is a much better team than they were, and they beat USC in the bowl game, but that was only because USC has no defense at all and stinks. They got the Heisman Trophy winner who can score 1 billion points, but they can't stop anybody because that's how Lincoln Riley works. So I think this is Ole Miss by double digits. So I got Ole Miss covering. The over is a little scary, only because of these new college rules. Thing where the clock doesn't stop when you go out of bounds, or I noticed it in week 1 because I was like, no overs are going to hit with this damn thing except for the blowouts. So if I've got to pick an over under, and by the way, I can't live betting unders. I can't stand it. I'm an overs guy. I cannot be rooting for people not to score because that just seems counterintuitive to what I'm looking for. But I think it's 67 on this game because Tulane runs the ball so much. I'm going to say under on that game. So
okay,
that's a rare feat for me to go under. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty familiar with you and I exchanging some gambling texts, and I would agree that is not your thing.
No.
You're right about the rules. I think you make a great point about the rules. That is changing things up and speeding things up a little bit. A quick note on some rules. If you guys watched that Clemson game, that was crazy when the quarterback slid on 4th down, and then they late hit him, and they said, well, he slid, so he was down, so it's a turnover. Then the late hit happened.
Yeah, it's after
I'm pretty sure they screwed that up.
Yeah, I thought so too.
They messed that up.
But I thought they did, but then Dabo after the game said that it was correct.
Right.
Well, then they need to change that immediately because you're going to have guys.
That's a part of the play. That's a continuation from the play. It should be. It was a hit on the quarterback. So
you're opening the door to just light a guy up on 4th down. Take the penalty. Game's over. Light him up. No.
Yeah, Dabo. Speaking of, you said Dabo. Nobody's taken more of a loss as a head coach than Dabo.
Oh, by the way, I called that game outright. I called that game out, right? Because I was like, they sucked with DJ there, and DJ just went and lit it up with Oregon State. This is on Dabo in that offense. They've got no offense.
Right.
So, yeah.
Dabo, if he doesn't have Deshaun or Trevor Lawrence, like Dabo was like the guy who's going to be the next Saban, taking Saban's job. Not so fast, as Corso would say.
Not so fast. Well, I'll tell you what, man. You guys made a lot of good points, but that win last year in the Cotton Bowl over USC and the Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams was amazing. They had an amazing season. They won the American Conference. They go to the Cotton Bowl. They storm the BCS party. They knock off USC, who's everybody thinks will make the playoffs this year. And it was all great, and everything's going in the right direction.
USC's not making the playoffs.
Well, everybody, I'm telling you, they're one of those.
They have no defense at all.
I agree with you, but a lot of pundits think they have a shot.
At some point, Caleb's not going to put up 67 points, and they're going to lose. Like that's like
that's the Pac-12.
He's going to put up points, but Utah will shut him down, and they won't be able to stop Utah.
Yeah, it'll be something like that. It'll be something like that.
It'll be the same thing, and if they can't afford one loss. Like they're not getting in with one loss. You know what I mean? They have to.
Nobody from the Pac-12 is.
Yeah,
but with Tulane, all that going for them, and this season they barely could crack the top 25 after a big first week win. Right? They come in at 24. They're disrespected. They're not even picked to win the American this year. And all that being said, compiled with the fact that Lane Kiffin is 1-19 in his 20 attempts at beating teams that have won 9 games or more in a season. Now, Tulane is going to be a 9-win team, but they're not a Power 5 team. I'll give you that. But Lane has a way of choking it in big games, man. He just does. But that being said, I'm going to be with you guys. There's no way Tulane's pulling this off. I like your point about the fans, Gilbert. I think that's a good point. I'm going to be with you guys on this one. I'm taking Ole Miss laying the 7, and I'm going to take the over in this one, though. I think it's a shootout all the way.
Don't get me wrong. It hurts me to take that under. I am going to be like, I'll be wrecked the whole time when Ole Miss scores in the first 12 seconds of the game, and I'll be like, oh, there goes the under.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think on these. I think the big power schools. I think the clock doesn't matter as much. I think the clock matters more on like the lesser schools, like the non-power 5 schools. I think the under matters more there. I think these big teams like Texas, Alabama, whatever. Like I don't think the clock stopping and running matters as much for them.
No, it probably won't. All right, hey, let's move on to our next game, and Gilbert, I'll let you jump in first on this one. Big news, Colorado. All right, we all know the story. We all know what happened last week, right? So we got Nebraska +3 at Colorado, the over-under 59. What do you think?
All right, this game was -7 Nebraska before the upset. So it is flipped. This is a 10-point flip. I don't remember the last time I've seen a 10-point flip, right?
It's a lot.
But Nebraska can't score. Like, I'm sorry, like Minnesota wasn't playing great D in that game. They can't score. Like Matt Rule usually takes a couple years. He did the same thing at Baylor. It took him a couple years when he was there to kind of turn that around. And you saw they played great D, right? So he can do that for them. But it's one of these things that I honestly at +7 I was going to be on Coach Prime in Colorado. I think at -3 at home with the way that crowd's going to be and the way Sanders played at quarterback, I think I got to take Colorado. And this one I will take the over just because I don't think Colorado's got a great D either. But I think it'll be a shootout, and but Nebraska will turn the ball over way too many times, and it'll be Colorado. I'm not going to get off the Coach Prime bandwagon yet. So
all right, man. Hey, keep chewing with Coach Prime and the Buffs right now. Taking the under. Andy, where you landing?
Interesting about this game is that they're correct on Rule. Like Rule doesn't care about, in my opinion. That's why I like the under in Nebraska this year at 6.5 of wins. Doesn't care about the first season. He didn't at Baylor. He never cares. Like you go look at all his first year teams. They win like 2 games, like 2-10. Like so, it's interesting to me. This game, it's like 2 coaches. Old school versus new school, right? You have the old school Rule way, which is like recruits the guys he wants. He brings them in. Prime transfer, 80 guys, 60 guys. He's like college football 3.0, right? Deion's like he's trying to. It's a very different style of footballing, right? And Rule, look, I'm going to end up taking Colorado in the -3, mainly because I think that Colorado crowd is going to eat Nebraska alive. Like, I'm not even sure Nebraska knows what they're going to walk into. Like, these bad football teams, like I did say, home field doesn't matter as much. I think in good football teams, it doesn't matter as much. When bad football teams come on the road, it matters, right? Nebraska's not a very good football team. Colorado crowd, the Buffalo is just going to run through. It's just going to be madness. What was the over-under?
59.
Give me the under. Give me Colorado.
Yeah.
I just don't see how Nebraska scores, to be honest. Not that Colorado's defense any good. I just don't know how they score.
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't know how they score. And Colorado's going to score points. Yeah, I mean, they're going to put up points. I just,
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm going to say about it, guys. Nebraska last week at Minnesota was impressive. Okay. I thought this team was going to be terrible. Minnesota's usually pretty good. That's a tough place to play on the road. It is. Nebraska showed up old school Big Red, and they did what they're going to do because they don't have a lot of skill players. They're going to run the ball. They're going to hold the ball, and they are going to play defense. Here's where normally I would pick against the team like Colorado coming off a 1-win season and then winning a big game in the first week, having a letdown the next week with a decent team. I think Nebraska's decent. I don't think they're terrible, but I think it's going to be frustrating for that Colorado offense to not get as many possessions as they were getting last week with TCU. You're playing right into their hands when you want to play a 50-point game and we'll give you the ball, then we get the ball. They want to play basketball. That's not – Nebraska's not going to do that. I don't think they're going to win the game at all. If this was Nebraska +7, I'd be all over Nebraska right now just because I think this is going to be a game that is going to be slowed way down. Rule knows what he's doing. He's going to let Big Red be Big Red. They're going to hold the football, and that's going to frustrate that offense. It's just going to frustrate the offense of Colorado to not get enough touches. But they're not going to, I mean, Colorado's going to cover this 3-point spread. 3 points is just not enough Colorado to cover, but I'm with you, Andy. I'm going to take the under. I don't think it's going to be high scoring.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be, I don't think Colorado's very good. It's not like I think Colorado's any good. I also don't think TCU's very good. But,
I didn't think TCU was any good either. Right. Their entire year last year was on the quarterback. He had that will to win.
Yeah,
and he's gone.
They lost a ton of guys. That first game for Colorado was an absolute beautiful setup. You're playing a team that played for the national title as a big surprise and lost the guys that took them there to begin with,
and got blown out in that game. And it's like the Super Bowl hangover, right? Where you're not supposed to bet the NFL, the Super Bowl loser for the first 6 weeks of the season because they usually don't come.
Yeah, I mean that thing had upset written all over it all day long. All right, let's get to the big game.
Colorado can survive through September, right? Then maybe because I know next week they have Colorado State, then they go to Oregon, and then USC comes. So,
they could come out 3-2.
3-2. That's the best case scenario, I think, for the Buffs.
And I mean, their over/under for the season was 3.5. They're right there.
Yeah, they're going to hit the over on that, no doubt. Big game this weekend. Is College Game Day at the Texas-Bama game?
College Game Day's there. The Barstool Sports Game Day's there. Everybody's there.
This is game of the week. I mean, you got number 11 Texas at number 4 Bama, right? Last year's matchup down to the wire. Bama pulls it out at the end of the game, 20-19, right? Texas trying to show them that they belong and they can play SEC ball. We got the rematch now, but we're flipping home courts here. We'll save you for last because this is your team, Gilbert. So we'll let Andy go first here.
I love a dog. You know I do. You know I love the dog. But I think I have a bet, just so everybody knows. I bet Texas to win the Big 12 at even money, right? Don't buy any of those other teams. Get out of here. There's people trying to get me on Texas Tech. I'm like, nope. No way.
K-State's the only one that's got any kind of chance.
Any chance, right? Yeah. And K-State's going to lose to Missouri this week, just for the record, or 2 weeks, next week.
Homer.
In Missouri. So anyway, I want to root for Texas. The problem is I don't love Sark personally. I think Sark's fine. He's not a great coach. Look, Texas had issues last week running the ball against Rice, right? Absolute issues. Texas offensive line, in my opinion, sucks. It's bad. It's not very good. Guess who's got a good defensive line? Alabama. And when you go to Alabama and your offensive line's bad, your quarterback's going to have to play out of his mind, and I'm not sure he can do it. I did see a stat that 11 of Texas' 37 rushing attempts were stuffed by Rice last week. That's Rice. Come on. Like, look, I like this Alabama quarterback. I like him. I think he's good. I think he's going to be pretty good. I think he's going to run. I think he can pass a little Hurts like for Alabama, only maybe not as good as Hurts. Hurts was pretty good. So long way to say, give me Alabama -7. I love Texas. I just think not yet Texas.
You think this thing's going to hit the over at 54?
Yeah.
Okay, taking the over and laying the points. Well, here's what I'm going to say about this one. I'm kind of on the same boat with you here with Alabama this season. Nobody's talking about them, and Nick don't like that. Nick don't like that, and I'm expecting them to have a chip on their shoulder legitimately for the first time in a long time. Big home game, chance to send a message to all the pundits this weekend, and I think they're absolutely going to try to. That being said, both these offenses went for over 500 yards last week, scored big points against lesser competition. They just did. Ewers, I think, is the better quarterback right now, but he had a way better week last week. But Milroe didn't get a lot of opportunities to do anything really last week because they were hammering Middle Tennessee State or whoever the heck they were blowing out, right? So in this game for me, but quick shout out for this game, we got a couple of guys from our program. Calabasas playing in this one, man. For Alabama, we got Jermaine Burton, wide receiver, right? And for Texas, we got Larry Gooden Turner. He's playing, I think he's playing defense for Texas, but he's a redshirt freshman. But hey, be fun to watch those guys. But anyway, I digress. Texas, I think they're going to be about as good as they were last year, and I don't think they're sneaking up on Bama this time at all. Give me Nick sending a message. Give me Bama laying the 7, and give me the under, though. I think this game is going to be a lot of defense. That's you, Gilbert. Let's see what you got.
Well, I love being in a room with haters. So here's the thing. The last time I remember Texas being a 7-point underdog in such a big game, we beat the greatest team of all time in USC in the Rose Bowl, and I won a shit ton of money on it. So I plan on doing the same thing this weekend. Give me 7 points all day long. I was really mad about the Rice game, but I went back and looked at it, and I believe that was us not wanting to keeping everything as vanilla as possible and not wanting to give Bama anything for tape. I really think that's what we did. I think our running back room is better than anyone actually thinks, even though we lost Bijan. The guys behind are pretty legit. Ewers is going to play better this week. Him and Worthy will be on. We got robbed last year at home. Every call went Bama's way in our home stadium. They lost a Heisman Trophy winner, two of the best defensive players in the country. There was a lot of things that Bama has lost. And I think because of that, I think we're going to go in there. I don't think their quarterback's very good either. I don't think he's ready. I think what's his Milroe?
Yeah.
I don't think he's very good. I think they beat a crappy Middle Tennessee team because it's Middle Tennessee, right? And I think he's going to have a lot of problems with us. He's going to throw some picks. He's going to have some turnovers. I mean, we were all over Bryce Young last year. And we owned Bryce Young. I mean, there was a safety that got returned against us. His one big play that got him the field goal to win it. There was a massive holding call that wasn't called.
Should have won that game. Texas should have won that game.
Yeah, we even without Ewers, we were punching it in and got a face mask that wasn't called. I mean, it was everything that could go bad for us went bad. Don't see that happening 2 years in a row. Now, don't get me wrong, Saban gets every call. That's just the way of the world.
He'll work it.
If there's a call Saban can get, he's going to get it. I actually think we win the game outright. I do. I think we put it to him. I do think there's going to be more scoring this year than last year. So I think there's going to be some turnovers in the game. So I'm going to take Texas in the over.
Over 54. Okay. Yeah. Texas in the over for Gilbert. All right. Hey, we're going to slide into our 3 NFL games real quick here. But before we do that, got to pay some bills. And I have to throw out the introduction. Our newest member of the DWMOD family, minor league baseball Hall of Fame announcer Gordon Butterfeld is part of the family now, and he'll be giving us the breakdown on some videos. He's making a call in the booth for the baseball games anymore, but he's making the calls for us on everyday slices of Americana and our sponsor Blackhawk Coffee.
What just happened?
What just happened is brought to you by Blackhawk Coffee. Start your day off with Blackhawk Coffee and you'll be flying high and landing right on time. That's Blackhawk Coffee, a Colombian bean company.
Janet Lipnicki with a fresh cup of black hot coffee, looking to take on a washed-out beef patch. A ginger one, too, and she's in the clear. Oh, sniper! Oh, what just happened? Looks like we've got action from the 6-story window of the book depository as Janet takes that second step. Oh, bang! Down she goes. Let's take one more look. And here we see she goes wrong right there. She's simply uncoordinated and bang! Her face in the sand quicker than an ostrich. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Somebody put some chalk around that coffee. Black Hawk down. Oh, what just happened?
All right, guys, let's slide to the NFL here. Gordon, well done there, my friend.
Gilbert almost switched me over to Texas, by the way. I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I not betting Texas +7?
Yeah, that would be your MO. Take the points, right?
Take the points. I'm telling
you.
Man.
I'm nervous. Bama. No one's talking about Bama. Makes me it's like they're like sleeping giant.
It's funny. I've always gone that way with Bama too, except for some reason this year, I just don't think. I think the NIL stuff is changing stuff, man.
Yeah,
like people, and I don't think like guys can go wherever they want and get paid now, right?
Yeah.
And the good thing for Texas is Austin is a great place to be.
For sure.
Yeah. So you can get and Tuscaloosa is not, you know what I mean?
That's
so
exactly it.
He's still getting the players, but I don't think it's the same buy-in that it always has been.
No, it isn't going to be. All right, guys, NFL this weekend. Let's start with first game first, near and dear to my heart. Kickoff Thursday night, the Detroit Lions. I am on the hype train, guys, and as they say in Detroit, I am drinking the Kool-Aid all day long on this team because they finally got us a staff that has changed the culture, not just draft picks and players. This is a different culture than I've ever seen in my life in Detroit. Week 1, Lions +4.5 at the Chiefs. 52.5 is the over here, and I'll jump out the gates on this one. I'm taking the Lions +4.5. Looks like Kelsey's hurt. He's not going to play. Their defensive line's not going to have their big fella. He ain't playing either. And the Lions are going to look to just pound the football. And people can run the football on Kansas City when they don't have the big fella. And it's going to happen all night long. Give me the Lions +4.5. Give me the Lions outright. I got money on the Lions outright to win this game. And give me the over of 52.5 because this is going to be high scoring. Mahomes is going to put up points. Lions defense way better in the second half of the season last year and completely upgraded the secondary in the offseason and went out and got everybody. But Mahomes is going to Mahomes. He's going to do that. Goff is going to Goff, though, and he is going to score some points as well. So I'm telling you right now, I am on the Lions in this thing, and give me the over of 52.5. Andy is a Kansas City fan, Missouri guy. We'll throw it to you.
My basic rule: the Chiefs at home, they don't really cover at home. Like whether it was 6.5, like the Chiefs just kind of play barely enough to win at home. I think they're going to have some issues on offense a little bit. Like I do kind of expect a big Rashee Rice game. Watch out for him. Watch out for Ross. I think Justin Ross is his name. Sky Moore. Like those guys are going to have to play well.
Is Tony going to play? They've been talking he's back in practice.
Who, Kelsey?
No, Tony.
Kadarius. I'm not sure if Kadarius.
I heard he got back to practice this week for the first time. So
even when he plays, like he barely, Reed just kind of puts him out in little like fun packages. I got a couple stats I'll throw you guys. Guys, this guy's the number 1 quarterback against the spread in the last 5 years. 48, 32, and 2. His name is Jared Goff, right?
Oh.
Goff, week 1 against the spread, by the way, in the 6 years he's been a starter, 6-0.
Make it 7. Make it
Mahomes,
7.
by the way, here's another fun one about Patty Mahomes, has been a favorite in 84 games. 84 games. His record in those 84 games against the spread, 41, 42, and 1. That's Mahomes' record as a favorite. Now, you generally, in my opinion, you want to bet Kansas City when it's 3 or less. Take Kansas City 2.5. Like they did last year at the Bengals. Give me Kansas City. Like it just ate up. Like when it gets higher, like against the Jags in the playoffs, give me the Jags. So having said that, I will also be on the Lions at 4.5. I will be on Kansas City to win the game. It's going to be like a field goal. Butker's going to kick it from like 45 yards to win the game. I'm also on the over.
On the over. Now, Gilbert, before you give us your pick here, I will tell you, I don't know if you listened to the show last week or not, but a bold prediction on my part that the Chiefs will start the season 0-2 and finish 13-4.
Yeah, well,
they're going to lose to Detroit.
I mean, that sounds like the Chiefs. So here's what I'll say. I guarantee I'm 100% on the over. I think this is going to be score fest left and right. I don't think the Lions defense is there yet. I think as the year goes on, it'll get better and better, and they'll put it together like they did last year. I'm actually thinking of doing this game the way I did the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, I bet the Eagles for the first half, and I had the Chiefs for the game in the over, and then in the second half, I doubled up on the Chiefs and made money, right?
Yeah.
Because I think the Chiefs are notorious for starting slow, and then Mahomes turns it up late third, early in the fourth, right? So I think that's just their MO. I hate the Kelsey being out, and I actually thought the line might move, and it may move tomorrow. So if I'm betting it tomorrow, I'll probably wait and then bet on it. If it goes down, I think I'm gonna have to say I think the Chiefs pull it out late and end up winning by like 6. And it's only because I think the Lions are a playoff team. I 100% believe that. I just think that first week it's gonna be a tough one, and KC, like, Mahomes is going to try to prove that he can do it without Kelsey in the lineup. Like, he likes those challenges. Like, he ends up doing crazy stuff, and you don't know. And I feel like I think it happened last year with the Lions too. There was a lot of hype early because of Hard Knocks, right? And it took them time, and then they settled and they got better. And I feel like there's been a lot of hype on them on the offseason right now. And I feel like it's going to be like a little slower start, and then they're going to build up, and they're probably going to win the division. I think they're going to win their division, because unless Jordan Love plays out of his mind, I think they're the best team by far in that division.
All right, so on the Chiefs to cover and the over,
and easy on the over, like extra bag on the over for sure. So yeah.
All right, well, hey, speaking of Jordan Love, that's our next game on the docket for this week. We got the Packers +1 at the Bears. This is a pick 'em. And it's all about who you like. 42 is the under. And I'll just tell you guys quickly right now, give me the Packers. Give me the point. Jordan Love's already made his public statement. He knows his job is to own the Bears if he's going to fill in for Rodgers. He's got to go down there and win this game. I'm not on the Bears and everybody thinking they're going to be so good. I'm not on Justin Fields and the new offense. They got him DJ Moore. Big deal. They are still the Bears up front. I don't see them turning the corner the way that they think they are. This game will be close late, and the Bears will slide into trying to lean on Justin to win the game, and they'll be running him around like crazy, and it won't work like it didn't work last year. Packers defense will be Packers defense. Packers run game will be Packers run game. Give me the Packers plus the point, and give me the under 42.
All right, I'll go next. It's a very important Bears game, because it kind of sets to me like the next 10 years of the Bears and the Packers rivalry a little bit. As you know, I'm on Packers win the division. I'm also on the Lions not winning the division. I think the Packers are going to be really good. I think they're going to win 10, 11 games. I think they got a good defense, good running game. The quarterback's fine. Like, you're going to also see the head coach's offense for the first time, right? We'll see if the head coach is any good on offense, because Rodgers
is not Aaron Rodgers running the offense. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we'll find out. But I'm going to take the Bears. I'm going to take the Bears in week 1. I like a small home favorite like that, like a field goal. Last year, the Bears, and that was a downpour, but they beat a very good San Francisco team in week 1 in a rainstorm. But that San Francisco team just looked horrible. It didn't even matter. And the Bears look good. Opening day in Chicago. It's not cold. By the way, the Bears last year was the number 1 pick. So it's like the Bears can still be bad and win this game. And I do think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be like some kind of field goal at the end is going to win it. For either team, I'm just going to take the home team. I'm going to take the 3 and the over. Or the
all right. Over, under. You're going to go with the under as well, right?
I'm going to go the over.
You're taking the over. Over.
I think it's going to be like 24-21.
Okay.
7-24 or something like that.
All right. Gilbert, where are you at?
So the Bears, a 1-point spread at home means you're the underdog.
Right.
Like, easily, right? I mean, like, you're majorly the underdog, right? So, 3 points at home means it's an even, right? An even tail and whatnot, right? I actually agree. I think the Packers defense is going to be really good, Like, I mean, I think their D is going to be really good, and Jordan Love is going to hand the ball off to Aaron Jones and Corey Dillon a lot. Or Dillon? Yeah.
AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon. That's
AJ
what I
Dillon.
meant. Corey Dillon retired quite a long time ago. Yeah. So
He
yeah, AJ
died.
Dillon. But yeah, I think they're going to run the ball a lot, and I think he's going to hit some of those wide receivers for some long shots, right? I mean, I think the over is a safe bet. I agree with your score, something like in the 27-24, 20, 24-21, 27-17, something like that in that range. So I like the over at 42, and I'll take the Packers on that one.
Okay.
I don't trust. I have love for all Chicago sports teams. I really do. A big Cubs fan. I actually support the Bears and like them, but I don't see it yet. And I think the Bears, Justin Fields will have some huge games on teams that don't have defenses. I don't think that's the Packers right now. I think the Packers are healthy. The Packers will not be healthy later because they always end up getting injured on defense, and then people will score some points on them. But I think early on they'll be fine.
Okay. Well, I'd tell you, I think the owned will be owned as always this weekend. All right, moving on to the third game. The third game on our dock, our last pick for the weekend. We got Buffalo laying 2.5 at the Jets. So Jets are home dog by 2.5. Over under is 46. Gilbert, you want to just keep rolling? Jump on this one.
Yeah, look, I don't think the Bills have been the same since their offensive coordinator went and became the head coach over at the Giants. I think that guy made Josh Allen who he was. And he's doing the same thing with Daniel Jones, right? Like, he turned Daniel Jones into a quarterback that got hundreds of millions guaranteed when Daniel Jones was going to get cut from the Giants.
Right.
So Dabo, I think him leaving Buffalo was the biggest thing. They don't have Leslie Frazier for this game. I do like James Cook. I think James Cook is actually going to be pretty big for Buffalo. I've watched all of Hard Knocks, and Hard Knocks always gets me pumped up. But that Jets defense is fierce.
Good.
They are they're killers, man. And I love Robert Saleh. I think the guy's an awesome coach. And by the way, Aaron Rodgers played in a preseason for the first time in like 12 years. You know what I mean? I always bet against the Packers every year, week one, because they never played any starters when Rodgers was there.
Yeah.
And so they were never. I hate teams that don't play starters in the preseason at all. But Aaron Rodgers played in the preseason with these guys, and those first couple drives against the Giants, he looked legit. So I'm actually going to go with the Jets here. I'm going to take the points with the Jets. What was the over under on this one?
46.
Yeah, I'll go over on it. Like I said, I'm an overs guy. There's no rule change in the NFL. They're messing with that, so I'll go over. I'll go over. That's probably under though with the Jets defense, but I can't do it. So I'm gonna go over in the Jets and the over.
Yeah, I'm going to be with you. I'll jump in here. I'm going to be with you on the over there. I think that Jets defense is going to be great when they settle in this year. I think they're going to feel so much pressure to come out and overplay, especially in the first half, that they're going to miss a lot of assignments and they need to settle down. They're young, going to be great. Slow out of the gates. I think Rodgers is going to be Rodgers. I know he played a series or two in the postseason, but notoriously slow starter, especially in his old age. I don't see this offense for the Jets clicking immediately. I do think it will later in the season, and they will be making a run in the playoffs. I do believe all of that, but not week one, and not with a disrespected Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Everybody's telling them they're done and they're not the team anymore, and they're going, what are you talking about? We're the only team that has a shot at knocking off Mahomes. That's what they believe. And I'm telling you, they're going to be ready to come in and play. Give me the Buffalo Bills laying the 2.5. They'll win this game by a field goal, I think. And give me the over 46 in this game. Andy.
We talked about this a little bit earlier, Mikey, on accident, but I will just restate exactly what I said earlier last time. Look, the Bills' offensive line is very bad. It's not very bad. It's just bad, right? The Jets' strength is defensive line. That is going to give Josh Allen some issues, right? The Jets' weakness is their offensive line. The Bills' defensive line is not that good, right? They're missing dudes on that. So they're missing whatever. I can't think of his name at the top of my head right now, but the guy is awesome. Anyway, I'm going to take the Jets plus 2.5. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the Jets because on Tuesday we're going to hear all about how the Jets are going to go to the Super Bowl with Rodgers. And then remember what I told you in week 2. Here's the play. And after the Jets win, the Jets in week 2 go to Dallas. Whatever the spread is, it doesn't even matter. Dallas Cowboys are going to destroy the New York Jets in week 2. It's just a guarantee because their defensive line is much better.
I love it.
The best 1 or 2. So take Dallas minus 4.5 in week 2. Also, the Bills in week 2 play the Raiders at home. The Raiders are going to get just gobsmacked by the Bills. The Bills are going to dump about 35 on them. The Raiders are going to score about 10. But week 1, we're going to have to play the hype game, which is Rodgers is going to have to win week 1 plus 2.5 in the over.
All right, man. I love it. I love it. There it is. Hey, week 1 is in the books. The picks are in. Keep following us on the show. We're going to keep it going all year. And hey, everybody, check out our Quinceanera. I'm telling you right now, you better get yourself a box of Kleenex when you sit down to watch this thing. And I promise you, when you drive through Starbucks the next morning and you lean out your window to pay the barista after watching that documentary, you're going to pay for the car behind you and try to be a better person. That's what I'm telling you right now.
Hey, guys, I will tell you real quick. You didn't put any of the games that I'm looking at. I'm in the circa millions this year. I used to do the Westgate Super contest. Switched to the circa millions this year. You didn't pick any of the games I'm going for, so that's good for me. Nothing will be on you.
Yeah.
Looking at some other games for that one. I got to pick, I don't know if you guys know about that contest, but it's one of the things out there.
Well, hey, listen to the first half of the show before you came on. We covered those ones. I guarantee it.
Okay. So hook 'em horns.
All right, brother. Hey, I'll see you this weekend. Maybe. Thanks for being on the show, Gilbert. Take it easy, brother.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you, Andy, as always. And we'll see you guys next time. Disagree with me or don't, because that's how it works.